Welcome back to the channel, your number one source for major updates, government announcements, and the news that truly matters to South Africans. If you're a SASSA beneficiary or know someone who depends on these critical monthly grants, then this is one video you cannot afford to miss. Because today, we are diving into the huge, sweeping changes coming to SASSA payments starting in May 2025. These changes are not just minor tweaks or background policy adjustments. What we are about to share will affect how millions of South Africans access their money, what support services they can expect, and how the system will work going forward. It's safe to say that SASSA has become one of the most essential pillars of financial stability in the country. Over 18 million people rely on it every month, including the elderly, people with disabilities, unemployed individuals, and families supporting vulnerable children. The agency has faced massive challenges in recent years, from technological glitches and delayed payments to fraudulent applications and mounting public dissatisfaction. That's exactly why the government has taken a bold step forward to modernize the system, crack down on fraud, and expand access, but with every reform comes uncertainty, especially for those who depend on that deposit hitting their account right on time. One of the most dramatic changes coming to the SASSA system is a shift to what the government is calling a digital-first payment model. This means the agency will now prioritize digital payment options such as bank transfers, mobile wallets, and fintech platforms over traditional cash pickups at post-bank branches or physical pay points. The goal behind this move is twofold: to reduce the cost of administering cash payments, and to increase security for beneficiaries, many of whom have been victims of theft, scams, or lost money in long queues due to technical failures. According to government sources, digital payments are faster, more secure, and reduce human error and paperwork. But there's a complication. Not everyone has access to smartphones, mobile banking, or even reliable internet in rural areas. This move, while modern and efficient, threatens to leave behind some of the most vulnerable grant recipients, especially the elderly or people living in remote locations. In response to this, the Department of Social Development says it will launch an aggressive digital literacy campaign, send out mobile registration units, and even establish new partnerships with local municipalities to help the transition. If you're still receiving your grant in cash, now is the time to consider opening a bank account, registering with a mobile banking provider, or visiting your nearest SASSA office to discuss your options. The second major change involves a complete overhaul of the SASSA payment calendar. In the past, there was a national schedule where older persons' grants were paid on the first few days of the month, followed by disability grants and then child support grants. This structure has been in place for years and has become familiar to many. However, it has also led to serious bottlenecks. Long queues, overwhelmed systems, and payment processing failures have plagued the agency, especially on the 1st and 2nd of each month. To address this, SASSA will now implement a regionalized payment structure beginning in May. This means each province, and in some cases, each district, will have its own scheduled payment day for each type of grant. So if you're used to getting your grant on the 3rd of the month, that may no longer be the case. For example, someone in the Western Cape may receive their older person's grant on the 4th, while a resident in KwaZulu-Natal might get it on the 6th. The same applies to disability and child support grants. The logic behind this move is simple: reduce the pressure on the system by spreading payments out over a longer period. While this may be frustrating to those who rely on routine, the government insists it will improve stability and predictability in the long run. Beneficiaries will receive SMS alerts and can check their new payment dates on SASSA's website or through their local branch. Another key change, and perhaps the most controversial, is the tightening of income verification processes. SASSA has acknowledged that the system has been vulnerable to abuse, with thousands of cases where individuals with higher incomes have somehow managed to slip through the cracks and claim grants. To address this, a new cross-checking system is being launched in partnership with SARS, the South African Revenue Service, the Department of Labor, and the Department of Home Affairs. This centralized database will automatically compare beneficiary information with tax records, employment status, and bank account activity. If any discrepancies are found, such as undeclared income or false identities, SASSA will be empowered to temporarily freeze the grant, launch an investigation, and in some cases, demand the repayment of funds. This policy is designed to protect the integrity of the system, ensuring that those in real need receive support. However, there is concern among civil society organizations that the system may wrongly flag innocent beneficiaries due to technical glitches or outdated data. To address these concerns, SASSA says it will implement a fast-track appeal system and expand its call center capacity to deal with disputes. Still, this means that every beneficiary should make sure the information is completely accurate and up to date. Report changes in income, household composition, or employment status immediately to avoid complications. Now, let's shift gears to one of the more hopeful updates. There is some good news for beneficiaries of the Social Relief of Distress (SRD) grant, which has been a lifeline for millions of unemployed South Africans since the COVID-19 pandemic. In May 2025, the SRD grant, currently set at $370 per month, will not only continue, but it will also be expanded into a more integrated support system. The government is piloting what it calls Grant Plus, a bundled assistance model where eligible SRD recipients can also qualify for food vouchers, transport subsidies, job training workshops, and short-term employment opportunities in public works programs. This is a significant evolution in South Africa's approach to social relief. Instead of only providing a small monthly grant, the government aims to give people tools to regain financial independence. Participation in Grant Plus will be voluntary, and invitations will be sent via SMS. Selected areas will begin trials in May, with national expansion expected by the end of 2025. For those currently receiving SRD grants, this could be a major turning point, especially if you've been out of work for a long time and looking for a way back into the job market. Changes are also coming to the child support and caregiver grant systems. In a move praised by many child advocacy groups, SASSA is rolling out a more streamlined process for caregivers looking after multiple children. Previously, applying for child grants on behalf of more than one child was a time-consuming and bureaucratic process. Starting in May, caregivers will be allowed to submit batch applications and use a single affidavit to verify household responsibility. This should significantly reduce the time and paperwork involved, particularly for grandmothers, aunts, or foster parents caring for several children at once. Moreover, the criteria for the care dependency grant are under review. While changes won't take effect immediately, the Department of Social Development has confirmed that a new medical evaluation panel is being assembled to reassess the definition of qualifying conditions. If successful, this could mean more children with chronic illnesses or rare conditions could gain access to long-term support. For many families, this kind of financial assistance is the difference between just surviving and being able to provide consistent medical care, food, and transport for a vulnerable child. In terms of accessibility, the SASSA office experience has long been criticized for being disorganized and unfriendly, especially for non-English speakers or people with disabilities. That's why starting in May, SASSA will begin sending out all SMS communication in your chosen official language. You'll now be able to choose your language preference when applying for a grant or updating your file. This may seem like a small change, but it's actually a powerful step toward making the grant system more inclusive. Of course, no government reform goes unnoticed. The public response to these SASSA changes has been mixed. Many experts in the social development field say the reforms are necessary and long overdue. The transition to digital systems, tighter fraud prevention, and expanded support models are seen as progressive. But grassroots organizations, NGOs, and some opposition leaders worry that the government may be underestimating the logistical challenges involved in rolling all these changes out at once. There's a growing concern that the people most at risk, rural pensioners, people with disabilities, and digitally disconnected communities, could face disruptions in accessing their payments. That's why it's so critical for you, the beneficiary, to stay proactive. Do not wait until problems happen, get ahead of the curve. So what can you do right now? First, make sure your contact details are current. Your phone number, ID number, and bank account information must be accurate and up to date. Second, start exploring digital banking options. If you're not sure where to start, visit your nearest post office or SASSA branch for help. Third, check with your local municipality about your new regional payment date, especially if you've been getting paid on the same date every month for years. And finally, talk to your community leaders, church groups, or neighbors about these changes. The more people are informed, the fewer people will be caught off guard. To wrap up, May 2025 is going to be a landmark month for social grants in South Africa. Whether these reforms become a success story or cautionary tale will depend on how well the government executes the rollout and how prepared the public is to adapt. While the challenges are real, so are the opportunities for a smarter, safer, and more responsive grant system. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this update helpful, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this information with anyone you know who might be affected by these changes. Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments below. What do you think about the new SASSA reforms? Are you feeling confident or concerned? We read every comment and respond with real advice and updates you can trust.